Hey guys, what is up and welcome to a new PBE preview video. As you can see, I am playing the newest champion that is going to be coming to the live servers very soon, Yasuo. This champion is a very fast assassin-like champion who just dashes in, does a lot of damage, and he's very combo heavy in the sense that you want to have to combo your Q and your E along with your ulti altogether for a nice sequence. From this gameplay, you'll see that he is pretty strong, and he's actually probably way too strong, and I'm expecting a nerf on him before he goes to the live servers. But let's go through each ability and let me tell you guys what they do and exactly what I think of the ability and just how OP it is. His passive has two parts, and the first one gives you this shield whenever an enemy champion hits you whenever your meter is full. The meter fills up by you pretty much just walking around and using spells. The second part of his passive just flat out doubles his crit chance. Yes, you did hear correctly, it doubles his crit chance. That's absolutely ridiculous, and I don't see that staying for the live release. In this game, I ended up getting an IE and a static shiv, and just with those two crit items, I think it was just those two, I had about 80% crit chance. That is absolutely ridiculous. So for that, I do think his passive should be nerfed to maybe 1.5. And the shield that he gets is pretty useful in the laning phase because it's definitely great for trading damage. Now let's look at his bread and butter, the Q. In this one, he just simply throws out his sword in front of him and deals damage to everything in its path. After making 2 successful connections on champion or minion, your third one will actually fire out a tornado that looks just like this. And this is pretty useful because you have to use this for your ulti to work. You can also combo his E and his Q, which will just make him spin in a circle when he finishes dashing to his target. The same thing will apply with the tornado effect, and he'll just do a tornado in an AoE area around him. This is extremely useful and a lot easier to land with the ability. So overall, his Q ability is definitely his most primary skill. This is a skill you're going to be spamming quite often, and in the later stages of the game, the cooldown on the skill will be extremely low. And this skill is pretty much the whole reason behind your ulti, and without it, you can't fire ulti, unless I'm guessing you can combine someone like Janus Tornado to fly him up in the air and then ulti them. So like I said, it has really good damage, but it has also very low range, which is why I usually recommend using your E and then your Q because it's just a lot easier to hit. So in the laning phase in any fight really, you want to try to get the Q to 2 stacks by either harassing them from afar or using it on minions. And then, once you get the 2 stacks, you go in with your E for the third one or just simply range him with the Q ability and knock him up and then ulti them, and then it just does so much damage and it's a pretty cool combo. Apparently also, you can use his Q while you're in the air and hitting them with your ultimate, which is also pretty damn good. All in all, it's his most important skill and definitely a really good one at that. His W throws down a windshield, as you can see in the video, that reflects projectiles. The Jinx's W just got reflected. This one is pretty useful, but at the same time it's also very useless. What I mean by this is that the active effect will probably be just kind of chilling in your skill slot, not really useful for most of the game, but at the same time, that 1 or 2 times where you can maybe reflect something extremely important to survive, it can be a completely game-changing skill. So again, either really good or really bad. Its passive effect increases the regeneration rate of your flow, which is the thing you see under the HP. This is the thing that's responsible for the shield that he gets with this passive. All in all, a pretty decent skill. Again, very useful or very useless. Definitely want to max this last though. The next ability is his E, which is probably the most interesting skill that he has. You can continually dash on enemies without any cooldown or mana, of course, but you cannot dash on the same target within a certain time frame. Also, each consecutive dash will do more damage than the next, up to 100% increased damage. That is why you saw in the slow motion video, I dashed on a few minions first and then onto the Warwick for more damage. This is definitely a skill that defines what this champion is because he can just dash around the battlefield, quite often making him quite mobile. For example, in the laning phase, like I said, you can dash on a few minions, leave one maybe not dashed, dash onto the enemy champion, do damage maybe with your third part of your Q active, throw up in the air, and again harass, and then dash back on the last minion that you did not dash onto, because obviously you can't dash on the same minions, like I said, within about a 10-second time frame. Overall, a very solid skill and I like it quite a lot. And last but definitely not least, his ultimate. As you can see, I dash in with my E, I use the Q which made me spin around, hit him up in the air, and then I ulti. He jumps in the air, does a lot of damage, smacks them down, and gets huge armor pen on them right after. Like I said earlier, I also noticed that after you knock him down, he seems to automatically get a free auto attack. This skill is definitely super strong. The damage is huge, but it can be somewhat difficult to get this one off because in a team fight, you have to survive long enough to get either both of your Q down, so the third one will obviously knock people up and then you can use it, or you need to rely on a teammate, assuming that, you know, you can ulti someone off of something like Janus Tornado. All in all, definitely a unique ultimate that's also very fun to use and combo with the rest of his skills. But it can be quite challenging to get this one down because again, you do have to knock them up in the air. So as you can see, his kit is pretty interesting and it does seem a little overpowered. The game that you're seeing right now was actually a 4v 4v5, you can see our Malphite is in the base for quite some time. He's level 1, he DC'd at the beginning for whatever reason, and 4v5, we actually ended up pulling through and winning this game. So check out this clip right now. I know that Annie's going to be up while I'm getting this inhibitor, and I don't want to die to her, so I get a few Qs onto the minions, get the third strike ready. She comes in, I E and Q her, and she flies in the air, and then I just ulti her, and she gets absolutely obliterated. But overall, this is how he's looking so far. I do expect a nerf on him before he goes to the live server, primarily with his passive. That double crit chance is just way too OP. But overall, his skill set is definitely interesting. It's a lot of fun to try and combo these things together, and maybe with the Q especially, and you know, the E and then Q, knock them in the air and ulti them and all that good stuff. But that is it for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it and learned something new, and I can't wait to play him on the live server. Please like this video if you enjoyed it, and I hope to see you next time. Peace.